on a Saturday night. So many creatures, casting spells with all his might. Sipping on more coffee to stay awake and bright. Caffeine runs stealing his creativity inside. Got a YouTube channel where he's shining so bright. MTG 3, the show that takes flight. He's a lyrical beast, spitting fire with every bite. Rap metal flow, pounding beats to insight. No one can stop him, he's on a meteoric height. Super fast tortoise, the champion of the fight.
Are you listening?
Good morning, everybody. We got a packed show today. We got Hillbilly. We got Dark Master. We got Moonful. And T-Rexadactyl, the flying monster you see on Godzilla, you know.
Howdy.
Howdy. Oh, man. Good morning. I'm so excited that we're here. So I was watching someone else's show today, and they actually covered something similar on the topic today. I'm like, that's a good topic. Why don't I talk about it today? And I'm like, man, I hope we can scoop up some people to have a good, full discussion. So we'll get to that when we get there. Right now, we're saying hello to everybody because everybody is here. Hope you're having a good morning. Hope you got your, coffee. Yeah.
Coffee.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Hillbilly actually got up and made himself a pot of coffee today. We got to commend him because that was a lot of work for Mr. Hillbilly.
Yeah, it was.
But I'm proud of him. He's growing. You know, he's like, mommy, wow, I'm a big kid now.
Pretty soon we'll see the coffee pot right behind him.
I'm working on that.
So Hillbilly and I live in tornado areas, right? We think about tornadoes. And one time Hillbilly was hiding in the bathroom like he should with his family during a tornado season. And I asked him, did you save the coffee pot? And ever since then, it's been kind of a joke when we've got tornado warnings and stuff that, you know, make sure you grab the coffee pot.
We got to go down into the basement. We got to bring the coffee pot.
That's right. Save the coffee pot. Ooh. But, you know, one thing I got. You're good, dude. One thing I got is an old-fashioned percolator, like this big church tube thing. Like I only seen them in church, really. But the big tube you fill with like 5 gallons of water with a little cap you put on it and no filter, but you put coffee in it and it percolates and makes really hot coffee. So I got backup if I'm really desperate for coffee and the tornado takes it. So good.
You got to be prepared whenever you live in Tornado Alley. I'm in Missouri, so I know all about that.
Woo! Now, yeah, for sure. Man, a lot of tornadoes. We don't like tornadoes. We're done.
Yeah, we don't.
Like, I can't wait. The only bad thing about tornado season ending is cicada season starts.
Yep.
So, like, in this year, we're supposed to get, like, double the cicadas because of 2 generations of cicadas spawning this year. I am not looking forward to that. No, sorry. I probably took up a lot of the show talking. Woo! But, man, so excited. So going on here. What's going on here? His device disconnected, so he can't jump on. So, Hillbilly.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? Bumper.
You are watching Super Fast Tortoise.
Put up a fight, gonna leave them all in fright. Playing Magic the Gathering on a Saturday night. So many creatures, casting spells with all his might. Sipping on more coffee to stay awake and bright.
I love that bumper.
That's a good bumper.
Yeah, I'm still getting motivated and trying to figure out another bumper for later in the show. But on the idea of we have a good topic today, I want to start rolling over through the segments of the day. So, Hillbilly, what's the first segment of the day?
That would be the
card of the day. Combo breaker.
Woo! Card of the day, Home Skillet. Look at this. This is an old
Nice.
school card that's still good and relevant in Commander today. Oh, yeah. So this isn't a common. They originally printed from the Shards of Allura block. This is a Naya Charm. I'll read this card just today because, well, Hillbilly likes to read the cards and I want to steal his joy.
Blag it.
All right, it costs red, green, and white. It's an instant. It says choose one. Now Charm deals 3 damage to target creature, which is fine. Return target card from a graveyard to its owner's hand, which is awesome. Or tap all creatures target player controls, which can give you a winning strike. This card is nuts and powerful in the right situations.
Oh, yeah.
I chose this as the card of the day because earlier I was like, I want to look up an old fashioned charm. Like I remember when this card was brand spanking new, but now it's vintage. What? 2005? This card is insane.
Wow.
So good. My second favorite charm was the Bant charm, but the Night charm with that tap all creatures target player controls. I'm like, this wins the pick. I mean, what do you guys think about the card?
It's a
I do-
sleep.
I like it because of the last ability, actually.
Oh yeah.
And not having blue.
Not having blue. Oh, come on. I'm blue. Baba dee, dabba die, dabba dee.
And in Naya colors, there's another card that it's something discipline that taps all of your opponent's creatures as well. So you can pack a couple of those in your commander deck, especially if you're running somebody like Jetmir or even Gisheth for a Dino deck. You know, you can put a couple of those in there. You got your Settle the Wreckage. Like you just pack your deck full of all of those win cons, and your opponent is basically handcuffed the entire game. Absolutely powerhouse card.
Ooh, yeah. Oh, looking while working. Nice. Captain Waffles. Megafull. Dockmaster. You're in 2 places at once. Oh, yeah. T-Rex is a dactyl. If you want to leave a comment in the chat, I can give you a wrench and you can share your link to your channel. But yeah, that is a cool card. Cool thing. That discipline card. I was trying to look it up when he's talking about it, but apparently I don't know how to spell discipline right now. That's because my brain is still waking up. But with that, let's roll into some pictures of the day. Pictures of the day. Boom. When you have to work on Saturday.
That used to be me when I was able to work. I was working like 7 days a week.
Right? Well, give me a second. Boop. No. All right, everybody. I'm sharing T-Rex Dactyl's Twitch channel in chat. If you want to check them out, go check them out. If you watch the Twitches, you can. Well, I was going to rhyme with that, but I can't.
Watch the Twitches, but stay away from the switches.
That's right. This one is My Patience Without Coffee. Saw this one on Facebook. I'm like, that sums me up in the morning. Like I'm always racing to get the show ready and up at a certain time so I can share it. I can share the link and everything. And then the next picture I found out. Whoa, it's the weekend. Whoa. Yeah. You know, this makes me think of Hillbilly when he doesn't get his coffee. That's right. And pretty soon it'll look like Hillbilly when he shaves that head and had 1,000 subscribers. But now
man.
the next,
that's gonna be a day of torture.
right? Now the next picture, if you read it in the voice of the character, you're old.
You want to try it?
I'll say,
No,
good morning, regulators. Don't forget your coffee.
Right. Don't forget your coffee. I say, good morning, regulators. Don't forget your coffee. Yeah. Megafull, you're back.
Yeah,
Welcome
Woohoo.
back.
Grandma just wanted me to help finish up something.
Yeah, good. Woo! So, oh man. So, since we got a jam-packed session, I'm trying to get through the segments. So the next segment of the day is going to be the question of the day. And the question of the day.
Presented by Discord, we have the question of the day.
All right, today's question is brought to you by me, but tomorrow it'll be by Mrs. Hillbilly. She actually has a good question set up, but this one was made yesterday, so I'm keeping it in the flow. The question of the day is:
Here's a question for the day. What is a movie franchise that you would love to see in Magic the Gathering?
Ooh, that's a good one.
That is a good one.
Yeah. I already have my answer up my sleeve. I almost answered it in the video, but I'm like, what's so fun about answering the question in the video if I don't get to answer it live?
Oh, I wouldn't mind seeing some of the horror movies all in one set,
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool.
like Freddy, Jason, Candyman, Chucky, Scream,
Hellraiser.
Hellraiser.
maybe even
Yeah.
maybe even the Billy Saw puppet.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Movie franchise.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what's a movie franchise like you would love to see?
Spaceballs.
Spaceballs. Woohoo!
That would be a good funny one.
There would actually be a card called Spaceballs the movie. The movie.
Dude, there's all kinds of movies out there. It's hard to pick just one.
Oh, think about what's one of your favorite franchises. I purposely did it because I can't say Jurassic Park because they've already done Jurassic Park, which I'm stoked, right?
So you have to do a new one.
Right, but I was thinking if I saw a movie franchise in Magic the Gathering that would like make me want to gravitate to it, would be the Dark Knight series with Christian Bale and Heath Ledger's Joker. You know,
It's like
unlike
DC.
the good DC comic, like good Batman, like one of the best Batman iterations we got.
Okay. Highlight Captain Waffle's newest one because I was going to say that.
Slivers.
Yeah. Because of the slivers.
Slivers. Well, there actually is a worm creature type in Magic the Gathering, so that actually fit pretty well.
I mean,
That's pretty solid, Captain Waffles, actually. Huh?
I would want to say something like G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe. Well, that is a movie franchise now. I don't know how well it's doing, but it's actually a franchise, so you're not wrong. But, they did Transformers and they did the cartoon. They could do that too, which is fine. That works. Lawson, what's up?
So,
What about you, T-Rexodactyl? Is there a movie franchise you'd love to see in Magic the Gathering?
There's a lot of them. I think that the one that I would love to see, and it's not necessarily one franchise, but like all the old B movie monsters, like Godzilla, King Kong, Mothra, and they have homages to them with like Kuglin, Yadaro, and all of those. But I would love to actually have the actual characters in the game, just these great big kaiju monsters that would be out there, and they could have some ridiculous abilities. Like Godzilla, obviously you should have a mana pump ability to deal damage to something like his laser beam attacks, right?
Right.
Godzilla or King Kong rather would be an obvious reach and fight spell because
Right.
the Empire State Building and the planes and all that from going way back. So
That's a good idea. Like,
Mhm.
because that brings up like he could actually have real life locations as lands.
exactly.
Mhm.
That would be like if you have the Empire State Building in play, King Kong has reach, something like that.
That is pretty cool.
You make the Empire State Building a enchantment.
I mean, instead Empire State Building is enchantment.
Mm-hmm.
It could be. It could be like you could have it say it's enchanted, or it could be a land that produces population tokens. Like they got civilian tokens, make a population token. It's like a 1/1 token, and you tap it or something.
Yeah, like citizen tokens or
Mhm.
yeah.
Right,
Okay.
and have like the monster tokens have like a devour mechanic that like population or citizen devour, where they devour humans and creatures and they get extra abilities.
And like Mothra wouldn't even be the first moth in Magic. There's that the broodmother moth that whenever your stuff dies, it comes back, but it's got flying. So like that you could really get crazy with some of the different creature types. Like it would slot right in with what we already have, and there would be a lot of synergies that would be there. Maybe the new ones aren't, but like the old original,
Ones where
yeah,
yeah, they're in the realm of Sentai. That's pretty much what they were.
Yep.
exactly.
So Gremlins, it's a good franchise. That'd be fun too. Gremlins, I think they're remaking the movie, which I would love to see a good rendition of the movie made, not some cash grab that's like, oh, you remember this? You'll love this. Spend money on this.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, they did Godzilla Magic already, but that was all reskins though. I think he's talking about original cards.
Yep.
Like Ikoria was the Godzilla set, and they made good cards for the set, and they reskinned some of the cards to be Godzilla characters.
Yeah, because those wasn't really Godzilla. They were, because if you look at the cards, they got another name on them of the cards that they really are.
Right? Because you remember when it came out, the C virus was a big thing, and you had Corona the Sun Godzilla that had renamed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that was crazy. So yeah, but still, imagine actually having a card that's Godzilla that's based in Magic the Gathering. Like the Godzilla skin cards are not really based on Magic the Gathering. Like, well, if this card was in Magic, this would be like this card. But imagine having Godzilla as a Godzilla card, like a big stompy stomp, giant enormous skyscraper dinosaur. Woo woo.
A 2020 creature.
Right. And another thing going on, like we must have put it away in a different room, but we had this game, which is a game that goes off those old B-rated horror movies with like Swamp Thing, the werewolf, Count Dracula, whatever. And we have this game that we're in the house where all these monsters and you're trying to survive the city. Well, it'd be interesting if Magic the Gathering did that too as a B-rated film set. Like they're like, you got Swamp Thing, you got Count Dracula, you actually got the Mothman, not the Mothman from the Far Cry,
Fallout.
Fallout, yeah, Fallout, yeah, like an actual Mothman based off the mythos, the urban legend. That'd be cool too as well. Oh, and host.
See, that's one reason why I got the Mothman deck, because I thought it was going to be like it, but it's not.
Nope, it's based off the video game.
Yep.
All right. Oh, hello, cookies and streams. Hey. Welcome.
Welcome.
All right. So now, let's roll on to the card days. We did that day, right? My brains were working today. We're actually rolling on to the topic of the day. Whoop whoop! Our topic of the day. Let me pull up the monologue because the monologue is here. Is Magic the Gathering aging out or staying strong? Is Magic the Gathering aging out? Is Magic the Gathering staying strong? People are crying about the reprints. People are crying about the commander stigmatism that is taking the game the wrong direction. It feels like the player base is growing, and yet it feels like the older players really love the game more than the newer players. Has Magic the Gathering become too popular too fast, like during COVID? Like, did the game just explode during the lockdown? And now is the way to be. Now is it in the way of the yo-yo or any trend or fad that's coming and going? Now, out of all the hobbies in the world, Magic the Gathering has lasted the longest and only has grown so powerful as in terms of players and collectors go. Will Magic the Gathering be outgrown, or will it be strong for years to come? Let's open the floor for discussion and go.
I think it will stay strong
Well, right? It
because
could
it's been
stay
going
strong,
this
right?
long. It's older than Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh. I mean,
Oh yeah. Well, it's going to be older than every trading card game out there. It's the first trading card game, which is amazing in terms of how many times we see trading card games come in and go out, come in and go out. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of trading card games that come in and come out. Like you think of Yu-Gi-Oh, you think of Pokemon, but there's like thousands and thousands of other games that just enter the scene for a blink of a second.
Digimon, Dragon Ball Z.
Right? World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
So so it has the staying power. Now, one thing I noticed for sure is like someone like me who's been playing for about 2005. Next year will be 20 years for me playing Magic the Gathering. 20 years. That's crazy to think of, actually. And I've have a lot of experience with the game. I have a lot of history with the game. I have a lot of nostalgia with the game, and I have a lot of stories with the game. Not as crazy stories as our friend James Willis that we've talked about before, like trading Magic product and stuff for a car and all that jazz. But like, there's time like the whole weekend pre-releases that we had. Every pre-release every weekend and all that jazz, So there's a lot of stuff that a lot of players don't get today that we had back in the day because the world was different.
Yeah.
Free Max Block.
I'm sorry, got called out again.
Okay, you're good. I mean, what are you guys' thoughts on the terms of how do you see Magic going in the future?
I mean, I dropped my first mana in 93 or 94, late 93, early 94.
Woohoo!
And I've played on and off since then over time, and then I picked up Arena back in 21 during COVID. I think we're past the point of calling it a fad. Right?
Yeah.
Like it's we're well past that territory. But I think that what we're seeing is the older players have a great deal of nostalgia. Back in the days of the crawl worm being a super powerful card and Savannah Lions being playable and all of those things. The people that actually had the original Tims, if you remember those, and you know, so those players obviously have a great deal of emotional connection and investment in the game because
Right.
they're reliving their childhood every time they drop a mana and play a card. But the newer players, like, there's a lot of people that will just pick up a game because it's available, and that's where I think Arena really shines, is in bringing people in with a relatively low cost floor.
Right.
You don't have to invest anything. You can be free to play on Arena and still do fairly well without investing any kind of resources. And so it brings these people in. Now, obviously, most of the people that you bring in aren't going to stick with it for decades the way that some of the old hands have. A lot of the people that picked up Magic cards back in the day didn't stick with it. That's why the shops have inventory. That's why you have cards that churn through. People would sell their collections. People would get married. They would move on to other things. And so, like, it's just that when it was in paper only, it wasn't quite as noticeable, I think. you didn't have the Discord with people who were active and then they didn't. You didn't have your friends list on Arena with people that never log on anymore. You didn't have as many people participating actively in conversations and YouTube comments on Twitch
Right.
streams. And so I think that you see the churn a lot more now, but I don't really think that it's any different than it used to be.
Right. Well, one thing I want to contribute to the factor that people think Magic is dying, and I don't really think Magic is dying, but it's something to speculate, like the ideas of, is like, especially in our community for a while, there was a huge influx of negative news telling or negative feelings about Magic the Gathering growing and festering in the wrong places, which is sad because there's a lot of positive channels out there, which we try to strive to be here on Superfast Tortoise. Like because like people like reprints are going to destroy the market, or Watsy's not turning up a profit, or something's going on, and every time something negative hit, they tried exploding it, and it just got overwhelming. In fact, there's this one guy which I'm really good friends with now, but like when I first met him, he was one of the most negative persons out there. But at the end of the day, he was being as honestly as constructive in his criticism, but people are feeding into the negativity so much. And the truth is, and this is a big truth that seems like it seems stupid when you think about it, but the big truth is no one saw the big picture. No one saw further ahead in the future because you can't always predict the future. So everybody was so stuck on their like bipolar moment. And I can say that because I'm bipolar, but people were stuck in their bipolar moment where they're like, "This is happening. This is horrible. This is going to change everything," and they really don't know how it's going to look long term. And I think Magic's done that a lot lately, where people like were standing out on the streets with signs saying Magic's going to end. The end is near. But it's because a lot of people were only looking at the negative thing that's happening now. But you know how it is, growing up. And this is where I think Watsy stands today, is where you're growing up is, you do you do something, change happens, you get a little consequence. You do something a little naughty, you get a little pounding on the butt, like a spanking,
Yep.
or whatever the terms are nowadays. And I think that's kind of what's going on. Watsy is actually my brain. Watsy, because let me put it this way. Earlier I was trying to think, how do you determine the age of Watsy, right? Like in human years, it's like almost 30 years old, or it is like 30 years old, right? But like in business years, it could be like the most oldest thing ever. Like cell phones, cell phones rotate out fast. Or is it like is its growth pattern like juvenile still? Like is it young 20s, which I kind of feel like it is. Like being like in their young adulthood, they're trying things out, they're starting to grow up and try to figure things out because they're part of a big company now.
Yep.
If that makes sense. Am I just rambling on there?
Well,
I mean, it's not mutually exclusive. You can ramble, but it can also make sense.
Yep.
So
Right. But what I'm saying is I think they're in a growth stage that we just don't understand because we've never seen it before. I mean, think about it. This is the longest card game ever. First card game ever printed. Longest one that's still as strong as it is today. Like Pokemon comes in and out. It still has it has more of a strong collector base than it does a player base.
Yeah, that's
Right?
true.
Right? And Yu-Gi-Oh has a strong player base more than it does a collector base, which is weird. But they're still going on. But Magic is very strong and gets divided between the player base and the collector.
And the collectors.
Yep.
And the one thing that people love the most, like the one thing I've noticed that shines out the most between Magic, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh, is that Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh don't have the vintage collector base that Magic does.
All right.
yeah, and a lot of the comments that you see whenever people talk about, Magic is dying and stuff like that, you have to have the context for where those comments are coming from.
Right.
Because not everybody is making those comments as a player. Not everybody is making those comments as somebody who's actually an active participant
Right,
in
right,
any other way than maybe they have a collection and they're thinking about their collection and what reprints will do to their collection, for example, or they are people who they built a commander deck 10 years ago and now they're looking at some of the power creep and the fact that they're going to have to update their commander deck if they expect it to still continue to be able to perform,
right, right.
and they're thinking, well, that's going to ruin the game for me. And but they don't couch their statements in, this is going to ruin it for me. They make these generalized statements because they assume that everybody has the same experience with it that they do.
Oh
And
yeah, that's
so
very true.
it's one of those things where all of those statements are very context dependent. None of them are necessarily true for anybody other than perhaps the person who made that statement. I've been telling people over and over again, anybody that'll listen the last month, I don't think I have ever seen a healthier standard than we
Mhm.
have right now. We have over 3,200 cards in standard right now until rotation hits. We have things that there's literally no archetype, there's
Right,
no color combination, there's no play style that is unplayable right now. And that is absolutely insane from a somewhat limited pool of card format like standard as
right.
opposed to the more eternal formats. So like I think that right now we're in a really good place. It was a rocky road getting here. I think that we'll be in an even better place post rotation whenever a lot of the newer stuff becomes more relevant because the older stuff gets phased out and you have to replace those things. But I think that right now where standard is probably the healthiest that any player has seen so far. And that
Yeah,
is an incredible move on Watsy's part.
and to piggyback on what you're saying, it's going to sound like a switch in the idea of it, but I think it's a good piggyback on what you're saying. Is Magic is no longer making the mistakes they used to, right? When it comes to power creep, like, well, by mistakes I mean Yawgmoth's Will, Jace the Mind Sculptor, or some
Oko.
more Oko or Grizzlebrand. They're not breaking cards anymore. They know how to temperament. They know how to temperament cards for the metas for the game. So they're not actually breaking the format anymore like they used to. And there's a crap ton of cards that used to be. And I think that's one of the things that made the vintage market very powerful is because some of those broken cards that more probably not broken for a while, but they made this one card later down the road that, oh my god, this blew up the scene. And I think that helps out with standards. They got a good nose towards the market where they can smell a combo coming of a mile away. And they're like, oh, this is a good card. This will fit perfect. So we're not breaking the format anymore. They're pretty good at that.
Yep.
And I think that goes with the health of standard, the health of modern. I don't know how well healthy modern is. I know some people say, I know someone in modern who says it's a shit show basically right now.
I think, and I'm just gonna say, Modern Horizons might make it even more of a shit show.
Might. But like for sure, but they're really good at not breaking the format or breaking any format right now, and that seems legit. And so I think standards probably is at its healthiest. I think the 3-year rotation thing's a bit long, but thank God I don't play standard anymore because I would not be able to handle that.
Yeah, my standard deck is about to rotate this
Mm.
year, and I'm gonna have to cover up some wild cards to create another standard deck.
But yeah, so that was all I want to say though. T-Rex Dactyl, that was a really good point you made there.
I mean,
Thank you. I want to address D Lawson real quick. Um, what you're experiencing with the same cards in the top decks, that's because with every format, every color has cards within that color that are the best card for that color.
Right?
And people like to play good stuff piles because when you have an entire pile of good stuff, you have a good solid deck. So you're going to see the same. That's literally what the meta is, right? The meta is, what the people are playing at the top and the most consistent. And you're going to have the same cards there because they are the best cards for that slot. It's only recently that we started seeing black decks being built without Shouldred in the 4-drop, and you still see plenty of Shouldred the Apocalypse,
Right.
but you're seeing more and more of them slotting in other things finally because they're getting different options that make more sense for that play style. And so you will always have a case where you see the same cards being played over and over again because they're good.
That's true.
And that will never change.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why people call them staples in every format. If a card is so good that you kind of have to play it in every deck, well, it's a staple. Like Commander. People remember staples used to be a big thing in Commander when people like Commander staples. Well, there's standard staples. Like when you have the best kill spell out there, you're going to run that in every deck that runs that color for the kill spell. If you have the best removal, the people are going to run in those colors with that removal spell in it. Or if you're the best creature is for that color, it's going to be ran in every deck possible because that's a staple.
How many commander decks run Soul Ring and Mana Crypt?
Well,
the
like most
commander
of my
deck I
decks
just
run
got has
Soul
Soul Ring.
most my, like most of my decks run Soul Ring. I have 2 decks. My collection of like 7-8 decks have no Soul Ring. That's it. 2.
Yeah. Like, you want to talk about cards that are ubiquitous in a format. If you go into Commander, there are literally, I want to say there's like 5 or 6 cards that you will see at every single table you
Right.
walk around. You're going to see a Soul Ring on every table. You're going to see a Mana Crypt on every table. Like I practically guarantee it. Command Tower, you're going to see. So like if you've played a lot of Magic, you know that there are cards that you're just going to see, and that's not really a bad thing because whenever you know that they're going to be there,
Right.
that gives you a card that you know your opponent's going to play,
Yep.
which
Right.
means going in, you need to be ready for that card. And if it needs to be responded to, you can start planning out your response
Oh, yeah.
and
For sure.
just take the free intel and go on with the game.
Mm-hmm. The like just like learning Magic, the best way to learn Magic, the best way to do stuff is to play the game. All right, play the game. I'm an advocate for playing the game. I love paper Magic more than I do Arena, so that's why I don't ever play Arena very much. But if Arena is the way you got to play, excuse you, Mugenful.
Excuse me, sorry. Sorry, it just came up.
If the best way to play Magic is to play Magic, even if it's Arena or not, no matter what you love, if you play Magic because of the experience, socializing. If you can socialize in Magic, to me that's better. But everybody's different. Some people are not as good in social situations.
Mm-hmm.
So play Magic the best way you can, the way that's best for you. And get a feeling through that, because like one of the hardest things that happens to me is I don't get to play Magic with people very much, other than on Spell Table, right? So I don't get to go to the game shop as much as I used to, which I forgot. Game shop, but like people love playing Magic, but you'll be able to find most of your meta in Magic at your game shop or where you play at the most, right?
Very sociable game.
Right. And wherever you play Magic at, that will tell you how healthy Magic is in your area. And that kind of gives you a broad and vague description of how it's going across the United States, because it's good in your area, it's good in some other areas. Like this simple statement. If I like unexpected results as a Magic the Gathering card, there's got to be 1,000 other people that like it, and that's kind of a way to think about it. So,
I do.
Yep. And so, if you like Magic, at least 1,000 people like Magic, and I know everybody here likes Magic in some form. So that means there's like 5,000 people like Magic. So that's a pretty good term, a pretty good assessment. I don't think Magic is folding out, but I think it's definitely having some growing spurts, growing pains. I
Yep.
think it's at an age we don't understand yet because we've never been this. It's like the joke. I don't know how to act my age because I've never been this old before.
I've been playing Magic probably since early 2000s. I'm not one of the oldest Magic players here, but it's not getting old for me at all. During the Corona deal, like Arena, it was my big time of playing Magic. I miss going to the card shops and playing Magic with people. I just can't do it as much anymore.
Right.
The reprints is always going to happen. Definitely for Commander decks and something that our game's is going to have.
Oh yeah, it's true. Tabal, hello, welcome to Balt. You love Magic. I like turtles. All right, Brandon, happy Dying Glaggett Day. He used to come in saying some happy holiday for any holiday that wasn't. Now every day's become Dying Glaggett Day. Thanks, Glaggett. All right. 25 years in playing. Yeah, like most of the people who come on the show has been playing for like 20 or plus years. Like I said, next year will be my 20th year playing Magic the Gathering. And like out of everybody here, Pterodactyl is the one person I know the least. So I'm going to ask you this question: do you like limited play, Pterodactyl?
I don't do a whole lot of limited. I started getting into it just this last set. I drafted. I had a couple decks go 6 wins on Arena. So like I've started really getting into limited play. I don't have like there's no real LGS scene around here for me to get into like paper drafts and everything, which is unfortunate. But
right.
Arena does the only thing I don't like about Arena is you don't play against the people that you draft against.
Yeah,
so
right.
Like you can have some really horrible packs go around and you play with people that drafted pretty much constructed decks with how efficient they are and they just absolutely obliterate you. So that's always fun. But no, it is a lot of fun. And I want to say, going back to that, it kind of dovetails with what D. Lawson was saying. I think that the new sets can have an impact if they're good sets. What you're seeing is some of the sets that were put out weren't super great. Like Murders at Karlov Manor, it was fun, but most of the cards in that set weren't good.
Right.
But we have a lot of good cards in OTJ, and I think OTJ has made a big impact on the
OTJ was spicy.
Yeah. So the impact that the sets are going to have is directly tied to the quality of the cards in the set.
Yeah. OTJ was like. It made the storyline kind of makes no sense to why it's in the universe, but the cards in the set were pretty banger. That was a pretty powerful little set. Like I still need to get a Broken Spine guy. The guy who puts +1 counter with landfall.
Beal.
Yeah. So the Jank Johnson show says, "What do you guys think about newer games allowing you to use any cards in your deck as land, like Dragon Ball Super or Star Wars Unlimited or World of Warcraft back in the day?" It's interesting. It's a way to fix tempo.
Or the Disney card game does that.
Mm-hmm.
The Disney card game, it does that too.
Yeah, Lorcana.
Yeah, Lorcana.
Yep, puts in the inkwell. Yeah, so it's an interesting mechanic. It's just a way to fix games. It's a 1-for-1. You're trading a card for land, basically. So it's not horrible. It's an interesting design space. If anybody wants to add to that,
I will add a little bit. The thing is with lands can also do extra stuff instead of just being a resource.
Right? Like I can imagine, right? One of the things that Magic hasn't done is, the idea of morph
Yeah.
is having a morph ability, but instead of being 2/2 creatures or lands that you can flip over later on.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Yep.
That'd be cool. All right. If Magic is getting old to you, try a new format. Oh, there's plenty of formats out there. Like
Yeah,
the
there
one
is.
format I want to make is called mini masters, where the highest converted mana cost of a card in your deck can only be 3 mana.
Ooh, that'd be interesting.
Mhm.
It kind of reminds you of Pauper, but just a little bit differently.
Oh
The
yeah,
white weenie decks would definitely come back.
yep.
Yeah.
Brandon, yeah.
Hmm.
Cookies dreams. I think we might see it balance out. All these sets and standards are designed for 3-year standard. That's right. That's right. There's so much change that we got it all. Like the thing with the change that we had recently is all happened at once. Like boom, all at once. Like that's what it feels like. It's kind of spread out month after month after month, but a lot of it just kind of just hit us at once. That's why we had a big negative blast in the community here. But like you know, if your car breaks down, and and I hope to God none of your cars break down. But if your car breaks down, that's a struggle. But the realistic thing, if you're a responsible person, that just means it's a change in your life, and you got to get a new car. Magic's kind of done that. They kind of broke it down. They kind of changed. They got to kind of change things up so they can get a brand new car in the life of the game. And they don't know what kind of car they're going to get in the future, but it's obviously going to be a lot different from the one they had now. That's a weird analogy, but I just pulled that one out of the hat in no way.
I mean, what I think about Magic is it is aging. But as far as aging out, I don't think it is. I do think it's staying strong. Yeah, they will mess up here and there because they'll release sets like the Murders of Karloff Manor, which really, to me, it sucked. It was it was a bad set.
Mm.
But then they come back with Outlaws of Thunder Junction. Oh boy, great cards.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so I think they're still aging, but I also think they're still staying strong, although they do stumble a little bit here and there.
Right. And the one thing I think the most positive thing you get out of the 3-year format for standard is that, say you have a mono green deck that just kind of dies out in the middle of the standard, can be revitalized by a new set later on. And so people who have those decks or those cards put away, and they get a couple cards that are really good for the deck to amp it up. They're like, oh, I can revitalize this deck and play it again.
Yep. And the whole purpose of them doing that 3-year rotation, so they can work on standard, make it more viable in paper form.
Right.
So I understand that. I wasn't too upset about the 3-year rotation, or some people was affected by it, but I think I kind of like it though.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
And it's important to understand where a lot of the complaints and criticism come from, because people talk to the folks that run their LGS. They talk to the distributors that will come in, and there were a lot of distributors and LGSs that were upset by MKM. Like they were having to return inventory. They completely stopped ordering big bulk sets because nobody was buying them, and that was a reflection of one bad set. But whenever they release a bad set, everybody's like, oh, this is terrible, Magic is dying, rather than, I mean, it was a bad set, just don't play it. Like
one thing I want to bring up, two things actually, same idea. Remember Mana Burn when that folded out and that was going in Magic? You remember when they changed the legendary rule and that was going to in Magic?
Yeah, legendary rule.
Right. So for those who don't know, Mana Burn used to be a thing. If you had mana in your mana pool that was unspent, then you return, you took that as in damage. They got rid of that.
Each mana you had, you can end up leaving 5-6 mana in there. You get 6 damage. 5 damage, and yeah, it was a big deal.
right? Then the legendary rule. There used to be only one legendary creature on the board at all time. So, or planeswalker, for example. Like if you had one Jason Mind Sculptor, your opponent couldn't play Jason Mind Sculptor unless they both sacrificed the creature because they're only allowed one at a time. They changed that rule a lot.
Wow.
That was
I
going to
missed
Magic.
that one. That
Yeah.
one came out of the blue for me. I
Mm.
started Arena, next thing you know, bam.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that's going to end Magic, and I just don't think Magic's going to end the way people think it's going to be. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. If you get that reference, you watch South Park.
I honestly don't think Magic will ever end. At least I'm
Uh,
hoping it don't.
Well, I don't think it's going to end. Like Magic will definitely be a roller coaster. And popularity is going to go up and down, up and down. But I think it's going to always have momentum behind it.
Yep.
Because old folks like me, and I can call myself an old folk now because next year I'm over the hill, or on top of the hill.
I get
Right.
that title right now. Today I got that title.
No. Next year, I turn 40, and next year I've been playing Magic for half my life.
I'll be 50.
You'll be 50. So that's crazy to think about. So what I'm saying is like I think with the love of the game that those older players have, and the more newer people we teach or bring into the game, like the professor, right? The professor's still doing strong. He's doing good. His channel's doing amazing, right? If you keep an eye on his channel and how well it's doing analytically, will kind of give you an idea of how healthy the format is. And you watch his channel go up and down, all the time. That's you got the command zone. Their content does the same thing, goes up and down, up and down. It just shows you where the state of the game is. And really, to kind of break it down, is seeing how boring the formats get to people to how interesting it gets.
Yep.
Well, look, the Lawson's a full deck of cards.
No, not quite yet. Need 60.
No. I'm talking about playing cards. But I get what you're saying. All right.
But yeah,
All right.
people have a hard time with change. Like I had entire paper decks back in the day where the win con was based around mana burn.
Right.
And whenever they did away with the concept of mana burn, that made those decks no longer playable. And it doesn't mean that Magic was ruined. It means that you have to go back and change how you build your decks, and you have to adapt to the new rules. And that's a necessary component of keeping the game relevant and keeping it alive.
Right.
And it's not the component that people enjoy the most because people don't like change. But if they don't, same thing with power creep. They have to have power creep in the game, or else there's no reason for people to invest in the new cards.
Right.
If Savannah Lions were still like the top one drop, there's no reason to go looking for a new one drop.
Right.
So they have to have power creep. They have to have rules that change and adapt. They have to have tie-ins with like universes beyond and all this other stuff that brings in new people because of these specific interests. The Lord of the Rings set, like I know that everybody gets sick of seeing Palantir and the One Ring and Orcish Bowmasters, but the fact is that you see them so much, A, because they're good cards, and B, because they really brought a lot of interest into the game by doing that. So have a good one, Cookies. Enjoy work.
Cookies.
See you later, Cookies.
Have a great day at work.
Have fun. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for the sub.
These are all components of keeping the game relevant and making sure that it adapts to the changing times and the changing player base. And that's how they keep the game revitalized. That's
Right.
how they continue to generate interest and create new players, which is what you have to do if you're going to keep the game going for as long as they have. So, I while we hate change, we have to embrace it at the same time.
All right. No, for reals. And
You are watching Super Fast Tortoise.
Put up a fight, gonna leave them all in fright. Playing Magic the Gathering on a Saturday night. So many creatures, casting spells with all his might. Sipping on more coffee to stay awake and bright.
woo, where did that hour go? Man, fully
Wow.
Yeah,
loaded.
for
Went
sure.
quick.
So,
Yeah.
man. So it's time to wrap up the show, get to going on. So we're going to start going to the shill section where people shill about their channels.
All
Like
right.
we're going to blow up this dude right here, and we're going to pull up this thing for him. Where is it? All right. Oh, where's the pictures? Right there.
All right. Early access streamer event starting at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time on Wednesday, June the 5th, where I will be playing Modern Horizons 3 over on my channel. And I'm going to be streaming from 8 to about 2 a.m. or whenever the event ends. Now, we have to take a break during this because I have something I got to do that day. But other than that, if you want to submit a deck for me to play, you can join my Discord and submit a deck that you would like to see. And not only that, you will get the credit for it. I will give you a shout out during the stream. And also, I'm at 447 subs. And once I get to 500, I'm going to try to do a giveaway. And when I get to 1,000, I made a deal with Super Fast Tortoise. I had to shave my head.
Poor
So
head.
this will be bald.
Bald. Woo, woo. Really quick, I want to shout out Captain Waffles pool game, June 22nd, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, $6 pool, pre-order till June 7th, $7 a pool after June 7th. Every 5 pools bought is 1 extra spot on the prize wheel. And there's more to it. So check him out on his channel. And I'll link will be in chat. And let's get to Dockmaster.
Yo, everyone, Darkmaster Gaming here. And well, I do a lot of gaming content. Have over 1,000 videos. Go on the channel and check them out. That's it.
That's
You
it.
just made a video today, Darkmaster?
Yes, about the giveaway that MTG Hillbilly did, and I was lucky enough to win it. I've been wanting a commander deck, and well, be trying it out today.
Woo.
That's enough. I've got to shield.
All right, Trexadactyl, you want to talk about your channel really quick and what you do?
Yeah, so I largely do best of one on Arena. I specialize in taking game mechanics and just pushing them to their absolute limit and seeing what the most ridiculous combos we can pull off is. I make a lot of fun jank brews. I've been working on more competitive stuff lately just because people like to actually win at the same time that they're trying to do fun things. But basically, it's just a place to come chill and brew and talk about the game and have a good time. So I usually stream in the evenings. I start between 7 and 8 p.m. Central Time, rather. And I will often stream until Jay Villain goes live and right into him because he's where I got my start. He kind of pushed me into
Nice.
becoming a streamer. So, yeah, everybody, feel free to come hang out, chill. A lot of times I'll pop into the voice chat on his channel. We just kind of hang out and talk on stream. So it's a good time.
Yeah, and this channel is everybody's channel links are in the chat. If you want to click them, go check them out. Darkmaster. Then I put you. Oh, your thing didn't. Oh, I spelled Darkmaster wrong. Sorry.
I
All
just
right.
dropped it in there.
I saw that. All right, so Super Fast Tortoise today. First of all, I want to shout out our channel sponsor, cardsotopia.com. The links in the description below and in chat. Go check out cardsotopia.com where you got these Father's Day specials going on, 30% off the whole website with the code FDAY for Father's Day this week. You get dice boxes, dice holders, dice bags, commander plates, everything. Go check them out. And today is Saturday. Hillbilly has a Commander game at 2 p.m. today. And I have a Commander game at 8 p.m. tonight. So make sure to check it out. If you're part of Discord and subscribe to the channel, you can jump on these games too. So it's fun. It's awesome. I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you all for being awesome. Mr. Hillbilly, Darkmaster Gaming, Mugen Full, Pterodactyl, you are all awesome. And until next time, my friends, always remember to follow your heart, right? Follow your heart and listen to Lord Megatron. Because Lord Megatron knows best.
Shockwave! What is your command, Megatron? Subscribe for Magic the Gathering and other content for evil fun. Fear not, Megatron.